Good morning. Coming up here on GMA, the race to avert a rail strike that could devastate the economy. We're going to have the latest on the moves in Congress to head it off. Also, the man behind the stunning collapse of crypto company FTX, Sam Bankman-Fried, in his first network interview with George. George also sat down with French President Emmanuel Macron ahead of his state dinner to discuss the war in Ukraine and his relationship with President Biden. We're going to have those stories and so much more coming up right here on GMA.
Ahead the next hour, the world saying goodbye to another music legend. We'll take a look at the life of Fleetwood Mac's Christine McVie, who's passed away at the age of 79. 2 people are dead this morning after an overnight apartment fire on San Antonio's west side. We'll tell you everything we know so far as new information comes into our newsroom. The breaking news right now is a raging fire at what is believed to be a gas station on San Antonio's east side, I-10 at Foster Road. You're looking live at TransGuide. A number of San Antonio fire crews are battling that blaze as we speak.
Firefighters make a disturbing discovery inside a burning apartment. They find 2 women dead. Good morning, I'm Katrina Weber. I'll tell you why investigators say they may not be able to find the cause of that fire. Coming up.
A man is dead this morning after a drive-by shooting just ahead what police are saying about the neighborhood where it happened.
And we are following this late breaking news. That's fire burning right now at I-10 at North Foster Road and east side of town. This has been burning this morning. This is the 1500 block of Foster Road, and we have a crew on the way to the scene right now.
Live from KSAT 12. Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
And a good morning to you. It is Thursday. It is December 1st. Right now, it appears that fire is burning out of control. We'll have more information coming up. Mike Osterhage joins us now. Mike, my first question off the bat for you is, other than the fact that it's cool, will winds be an issue for fire crews this morning?
We don't have much of a breeze out there this morning.
Thank
so
goodness.
Calm to just very, very light wind. So that's the problem. Obviously, it is cold for those folks out there, and definitely bundle up this morning. Great view of downtown as of right now, and you can see a lot of the green and red Christmas lights on a lot of the buildings downtown. We're at 42 degrees, so we did drop down 1 degree just in the past hour. 34 Kerrville, right around freezing in Comfort. So in your backyard and some of the low-lying areas out in the hill country, it is definitely touching freezing there. And like I said, slight bit of a wind or no wind, so wind chills are not a huge factor this morning. Mold is, excuse me, on the low side, and we are going to be seeing temperatures maybe fluctuate another couple of degrees throughout the rest of the morning. Clouds have pretty much moved on in here. We had a lot of clear skies overnight. That allowed temperatures to really drop down and didn't have a blanket on top of us, but now those clouds have moved in. They're going to be sticking around throughout the day. 52 degrees today at noon, and then a high temperature today is going to make it up just 55. That's it. We will be 12 degrees below normal. It is definitely going to be on the chilly side, and then we hold steady. Gets very warm tomorrow. Then we have another front moving through on Saturday, which will cool us down during the day. Then we'll talk about that coming up after we hit coming up in a couple of minutes. Right now, traffic authority, Stephen. That situation on the east side. Wow.
You know, raging fire, as Mark described it earlier. Check it out there at I-10 at Foster Road. We're going to let you take that in because we are working to get more information. As Stephanie also mentioned, we do have a crew heading out to the scene. This is at the 1500 block of Foster Road. As of this time, we know at least 30 fire units from the San Antonio Fire Department are on the scene right now working to battle those flames, but it's hard to tell if they have made any progress. This is a very close shot. This could be a gas station that we're looking at. In fact, if you look closely, it looks like we may be seeing some of the fire department trying to hose that down, but it just doesn't look good right now. As I mentioned, this is at the 1500 block of Foster Road along I-10. This is over on the east side of San Antonio, so just be wary of that. If you are driving into town or along I-10 a little bit later this morning, you'll likely see fire crews out there, and it is expected you may see some smoke along the roadway. So just be careful because we have it pinpointed here, I-10 at Foster Road, just outside Loop 410. So again, if you're traveling into San Antonio, maybe you're traveling out of San Antonio, watch for those fire crews. We are sending a crew out there to get some information, so we hope everyone is doing okay this morning. Giving you a wide look at the map, there's nothing else to really talk about, so that's good. So we can say the roads are pretty quiet for the most part. But as I mentioned, if you're traveling along I-10 on that east side, coming in those westbound lanes even, there's not a delay just yet. 29 minutes from Seguin at this point. Everywhere else, like Livonia, 87 northbound, 33 minutes to the Alamo City, and a 28-minute drive time for our friends down in Floresville. But we got to take it back to this TransGuide cam. camera there at 10 at Foster Road. This will be the big headline of the roadways this morning, but we are working to get some information on this particular fire. We're going to have more on that a little bit later on in this newscast. Mark, Steph.
All right, thank you very much, Stephen. And by the way, in that area, 2 large truck stops, Pilot and Flying J. And it looks like Katrina Weber is getting some initial information. We'll have more on that coming up. But first, this arson investigators are taking a look at a West Side apartment where 2 women were found dead during a fire.
And they are working in the 4700 block of Eldridge Avenue, not far from Enrique Barrera Parkway. Katrina Weber is there with a live report. And Katrina, do they have any indication of how it started?
No word on the cause of this fire, and I'll tell you why in just a second. Now, we've got several things going on here. We have arson investigators here checking out the apartment. We also have investigators with the medical examiner's office doing their investigation regarding the 2 bodies that were found inside this apartment. Now, the firefighters tell us that it's standard for arson to get involved when there are deaths in a fire. And so they've been trying to figure out how the fire started, but we're told that there's so much damage in the apartment that they may not be able to find anything, at least not anytime soon. The firefighters got called here just after 3 o'clock this morning. They say they found flames and smoke in one ground floor apartment. As soon as they opened the doors, they found the bodies of the 2 women right there inside the apartment. They were able to knock down the fire pretty quickly. They got it out. It did not spread to any of the other 16 or other 15 units in this apartment building. You see some people standing around here outside. They evacuated from their homes this morning, but we're told that there was no damage to their homes. So eventually they will be able to go back inside. But again, no word on how this fire started. The public information officer was here earlier, and he did tell us that he wanted to take the opportunity just to remind people that now that we've got cold weather, be very careful if you plan to use any kind of space heaters. But again, he said he's not saying that that's how this fire started, but he just thought that it was a good time to remind people to be extra careful. Reporting live on the West Side, Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
Katrina, thank you very much. New this morning, police say a man is dead after a drive-by shooting. Officers say the man was inside a home when he was shot and found by someone else living in the home. He died at the scene. No arrests have been made. Details are limited. However, police say the house next door was also recently targeted in a drive-by shooting. 3 people are safe this morning after being pulled from a terrifying crash. This was the scene last night on I-10 near FM 1518 in the eastern part of the county. A woman and 2 children, 3 and 4 years old, were rescued. They were all taken to a hospital and are expected to be okay.
The San Antonio Police Department is searching for the suspects in several cases this morning. First, a murder case from 23 years ago. Investigators say Rick Alvarez was killed during a family gathering. We are told he was in the backyard with friends and family when 5 to 6 gunshots were heard and he was hit. He died from his injuries. And take a look at these pictures. Investigators say the man is wanted for robbery at a restaurant on the city's southeast side on Friday. We are told the man threatened a woman for her car keys, then took off in her vehicle. If you have information about either of the cases, you're asked to call Crime Stoppers. That number is on your screen, 224-STOP.
An officer in Converse on administrative leave after he's accused of driving drunk. Police say this man, 23-year-old Justin Alexander, claimed he was not the driver. He was pulled from a car that flipped into a ditch Friday on the south side near Applewhite and South Zarzamora. Despite being the only one rescued from the car, police say Alexander claimed the driver ran from the scene. But a witness told investigators Alexander was the only person inside.
A key witness in the trial of Michelle Barrientos Vela may now play a role in helping the ex-constable's potential appeal. Texas Ranger Bradley Freeman has now been held in contempt of court. A judge says the Ranger violated an order to only discuss allegations of tampering in front of a jury. He did not. Judge Velia Mesa pointed out that Freeman's prejudicial comment will likely impact Barrientos Vela's case on appeal. The judge recommended Freeman be fined $500 and take a course on how to testify properly.
In the race to avert a crippling rail strike here in the U.S., senators will vote to enforce a tentative contract, but there's still questions about whether rail unions will also get paid their additional paid sick days. ABC's Alex Perche has more from Washington.
The scheduling on this is tricky. Right now, the deadline to prevent a potential rail strike is next week. But the big question is, are there enough votes in the Senate to keep these bills from getting derailed? Facing a devastating railroad shutdown this morning, Congress is scrambling to fast-track a deal to keep the nation's trains moving. The Senate expected to vote today to force rail workers to accept a tentative deal and avoid a strike. But some Republicans already signaling they're not on board.
The president has dumped it on us and said, I want you to intervene, I want you to fix this, and I want you, in doing so, I want you to screw the workers.
But those across the aisle disagree.
Unfortunately, many of my friends on the other side of the aisle have turned the Republican Party into the party of no. No plans, no ideas, just blame Biden, blame the Democrats, blame everybody else.
The House took the first steps, passing two bills. The first, preventing a strike, forcing workers to accept a tentative deal reached earlier this year, averting a shutdown that could cost the economy up to $2 billion a day. The second bill gives 7 days of paid sick leave for rail workers.
The president, of course, he supports paid sick leaves for all Americans, including rail workers.
But the White House press secretary going on to say that the president doesn't support any bill or amendment that delays getting this bill to his desk by Saturday. Alex Perche, ABC News, Washington.
Twitter is expanding its recommendations to all users, so accounts you don't follow will appear in your home timeline. Twitter says it wants to ensure everyone sees the best content on the platform. If you prefer not to see recommended tweets, you can switch back to the latest timeline.
You may have seen some of your friends sharing these yesterday. Spotify out with a new music personality feature. It analyzes how you listen to music, then assigns you a category like fan clubber or adventurer. Also breaks down which music moods listeners gravitate to throughout the day. Right now, 6:10, 42 degrees.
And much more to come on GMSA, including the overnight shooting investigation that happened on the city's northwest side. We're going to have the latest on the victim's condition.
And have you ever been on one of those horse-drawn carriages that stroll through downtown San Antonio? Just ahead, we'll tell you why those might eventually become a thing of the past.
And taking a look outside with a live cam, we're at 42 degrees, a cold start to your day, and it'll be pretty cold throughout the rest of the day.
The big story we're tracking: fire at the Flying J truck stop at I-10 and Foster Road. You're now looking at the first live images from our crew on the ground. This is a massive fire. Initial reports this fire started at a Denny's inside Flying J, and it appears the entire truck stop structure is now on fire. We'll be right back. If you're seeing smoke east of San Antonio, it is this fire, a massive blaze burning right now at the Flying J truck stop at I-10 and Foster Road. Right now, our photographer, Azian Bermea, is giving our first live look at the fire that started, we are hearing, at a Denny's restaurant inside the main building there at Flying J truck stop. We've got a number of fire crews out there. Last check, 30. And the flames are still raging, Stephanie. And
yes, this is happening off of Foster Road on the city's east side off of I-10. You can see some people there watching the flames, but it's a significant fire. We've been showing these pictures on TransGuide so you can, see it even from far away. But again, we have a crew on the site and we'll be getting more information later in the newscast. We will. Again, we are looking live at the flames that continue. Firefighters making very slow progress. They have one of those ladder trucks out there right now trying to douse the flames from above. But just a short time ago, it looked like this fire was burning out of control. We're hearing this may have been a kitchen grease fire and then it's expanded from there. But what Mike Osterhage told us earlier is a little bit of good news. Winds are not playing a factor right now, and thank goodness, because this is a big fire. Obviously, this is one of those big, huge truck stops east of San Antonio on your way to places like Houston and points eastward and even westward. So these are large facilities. There's Flying J, and then there's also Pilot. So obviously, one of the big concerns was the vast supply of gasoline in those underground tanks out there right now. But San Antonio fire crews attacking this from all angles. We have moved Katrina Weber from a fatal fire that she was on earlier. She is now headed to this scene, and we'll try to get some more information as the blaze continue to burn east of San Antonio.
Well, 6:16 right now back here downtown. Romantic strolls through San Antonio could be coming to an end. That's because some city council members here are pushing to ban those horse-drawn carriages you may have seen on the streets of downtown.
District 2 Councilman Jalen McKee Rodriguez and District 3 Councilwoman Phyllis Villagran cite inhumane treatment of animals and traffic congestion as reason to put an end to the business.
Now, 3 other council members supported the idea, but not everyone's on board. A carriage driver at Yellow Rose mentioned her horses see vets on a regular basis and are fed 3 times a day. She also says the horses don't go out if it's 95 degrees or hotter.
City council members who are pushing for the ban want to get to do it at the earliest possible committee meeting. Now, if approved, they said they would help the carriage drivers transition over to electric carriages or pedicabs.
Well, we're going to get a different vantage point on this big fire east of town from Stephen Cavazos and our friends at TransGuide.
Yes, I've been off and on the phone with them for a few minutes now, Mark and Steph, and we get a look there at 10 at Foster Road. You can also see a wide look at the first responder presence that's out there right now. We know at least over 30 units, as we were just talking about a little earlier, but massive flames out there right now. And again, Asian Burmese, our photographer out there, Katrina Weber, will be heading to the scene, but just something that you want to be aware of if you're traveling along I-10. This is, again, outside of Loop 410. So let's just give you a different shot here because we talked about traffic. They are also showing us this shot at I-10 at Bicentennial. Now, I know it's a little pixelated, but you can see traffic in both the east and westbound lanes is moving fine, but you can also make out that smoke out in the distance there. So just above the corner of the screen, you can make out where the flames are coming in the smoke. So just remember to stay focused out on the roads. It doesn't look like this is interfering with traffic too much, at least just for now, but it's an area we will have to watch closely throughout the morning. Again, that is there at 10 at Foster Road, just outside Loop 410. No delays, but if you are traveling into San Antonio or from San Antonio to Seguin perhaps, watch out. We give you one last look there at the travel times. 29 minutes to the Alamo City from I-10 if you are traveling in the westbound lanes. So no big delays just yet, but you have to watch out as we take it back to TransGuide. It's just been a pretty serious fire that, unfortunately, and we're working to get some information, but hopefully everyone's doing okay out there, but it's just not a good scenario.
I think I see a bunch of headlights on the frontage road, and that could either be first responders or people maybe pulling over to get a closer look at that scene.
Yeah.
So
it's a little blurry right there.
Yeah, it's a little blurry. You know, and our friends at TransGuide did advise me that this was not going to be a great shot, but I did want to get a look at the traffic out there. And, you know, we want to also just advise people, you know, it's not one of those scenarios you want to pull over and be a spectator to. We want to let the firefighters do their job to get this under control.
Super thankful that it's not well below freezing or that it's not super windy this morning.
Yeah, cold enough, obviously, for the firefighters out there. But wind, last report at the airport was north to northeast at 6 miles per hour. So not that bad. But Flying J is just on the north side of 10. So if you're going across 10, maybe a little bit of smoke kind of going across the highway right there and then working its way down into the southern portion of Bexar County. So,
but not a threat to firefighters as they try to get it under control.
Yeah, I mean, no, it's not going to be, you know, just huge. Yesterday morning, that would have been a different situation. Yeah. So, all right, take a look outside at, first of all, we got the bus coming across the desk right now. Temperatures, boy, it is cold out there and it's going to stay cold. Grab a jacket and we are going to be seeing just nothing but clouds. Clouds have already started to work their way into, especially western parts of our area in the hill country. 55, that's it today. And then once we hit 55, it's going to stay that way overnight into tomorrow morning. So we'll have some steady temperatures in the overnight hours. Here is a great shot of these two. I love that picture right there. Look at these two guys with their scarves on. That is Rocco and Luca. They're smiling. Send in your pictures, and we'd love to show them. Pets dressed up for Christmas or your Christmas decorations. It looks like kind of downtown is dressed up for Christmas as well. Kind of looks like a snow village scene, if you will. 41 degrees out there in Helotes, 42 at the airport, 33 at Comfort. And we are going to continue with cloudy skies. The clouds will continue to thicken up this morning. We may fluctuate another couple of degrees, going for 40 when it's all said and done for a low temperature. We make it up to 52 at noon and then 55 for a high today. Cloudy skies, obviously it's going to feel colder just because not going to have any sunshine to help warm us up at all. And clouds continue, like I said, to thicken up, once they move on in here, really not going to be going anywhere for the next few days. We may have a little sprinkle overnight, and then tomorrow morning as the moisture continues to pump on in here. So cloudy skies, that helps to hold temperatures steady. You get all that humidity coming on in, so really we're not going to have a chance to drop down. That's why temperatures are going to be staying steady in the overnight hours. Cloudy throughout the day tomorrow, as well as on Saturday. Probably even a little bit of some mist and drizzle early on Saturday morning. Jump ahead to a different computer model, and this is more long range. Now, again, these long range models paint things in with a broad brush. So this is as the front is moving on through here. A couple of sprinkly showers going to be possible late morning and right around lunchtime Saturday, and then that gets on out of here. So for late in the afternoon and Saturday evening, no rain around here, a couple little sprinkles left over here and there, but basically just cloudy skies, and we stay fairly cloudy, like I said, all the way through into next week. A couple of showers are also going to be possible early on Sunday morning. And again, this is just a little bit of light rain here and there. That's going to be the extent of it. 52 degrees at noon today, mostly or just plain old cloudy skies, and then 55 for a high temperature. That's it. Stays on the chilly side. Then temperatures stay steady overnight. We stay in the mid 50s, get up to 70 tomorrow. Morning mist, some fog with all that moisture coming back on in here, and then that's going to remain the situation. So temperatures almost stay steady in through Saturday morning in the mid 60s. Front moves through, knocks us down into the upper 50s, and obviously cooler in the overnight hours, 50 Sunday morning. And then it gets back up into the 70s, mid to upper 70s. So we are going to be, once again, then 5 to 10 degrees above normal going into the first half of next week.
Very different from today.
Yes, been up and down all over the place. Same thing next week.
Happy December, everybody.
Yes.
I know. I can't believe it.
6:23, 42 degrees.
And after the break, a look at some of the stories trending right now on our website at ksat.com. And trending right now on ksat.com, VIA is offering free rides today in honor of civil rights figure Rosa Parks. This marks the 67th anniversary of Rosa Parks' protest. VIA buses and vans will keep their headlights on today in her honor. And the San Antonio River Authority is celebrating the holiday season with River of Lights Festival. It's happening Saturday evening. You can check it out. A tree light show, get pictures with Santa, and decorate cookies and enjoy other festive fun activities. We have all that information about these stories on our website at ksat.com.
6:26, let's go back live now to show you the situation at the Flying J truck stop east of San Antonio. And from this shot, and Azian, you're moving your shot there. Okay, fire is still very intense. And look at the amount of water they are pouring onto this structure at the Flying J truck stop east of downtown San Antonio. From TransGuide, it appeared fire crews were making some progress, but no doubt about it, as we see this closer shot, that fire is still raging right now. We have more coming up.
And welcome back. It's about 6:30. We're taking a live look over there at this fire off of I-10 and Foster Road, about the 1500 block of Foster Road. Crews have been there pretty much all morning, and it looked a lot bigger from far away when TransGuide took the shot, but they are still fighting this massive fire. And this is a Flying J's over there on the east side, just in case you're not familiar with the area close to that gas station. But pretty much that whole structure behind that gas station you're looking at right now is up in flames.
Yeah, Steph, what we heard was that this started as a grease fire, potential grease fire inside the Denny's restaurant there at Flying J. And there are two big truck stops east of town on your way to Houston from San Antonio, and this is one of them. You see those ladder trucks are pouring water on. We think it started in the kitchen and then spread to the rest of the structure, but right now I assume they've got all the gas pumps turned off. They've got power shut down, and right now the main thing is keeping this fire contained to the structure itself. But we've got at least 30 units out there on the scene. This is the view from TransGuide. Right now, you've got people slowing down on the frontage road to get a better look. But as Stephen was talking about earlier, and we'll see if that is the situation now, that the main lanes of 10 are not affected. Back to Azian's shot. And if you were wondering if this fire is slowing down at all you have to do is look at this image right now. It is still raging, and much of that structure is still very much on fire.
And we were talking to Mike earlier, and if you're just joining us now, he told us that as far as fighting this fire, wind is not a factor for this one.
Thank goodness, that is for sure. Welcome back. It is Thursday. It is December 1st, and that was our first question this morning, was will firefighters be battling the winds along with the flames?
No, wind is non-existent or very, very light. There's a light wind at last report out of the north and northeast out at the airport at just about 6 miles per hour. So that's not a huge factor. It may, since that Flying J Ranch is on the north side of I-10, it may blow a little bit of smoke across the highway right there, and that blow smoke down into the southeastern part of Bexar County. But no, it's not a huge factor. Thank goodness this wasn't yesterday when we had those blustery winds around here. All right, this camera, a little out of focus, but you can see a lot of the red and green lights of downtown. It's a beautiful shot right there. This is our camera over there at I-10 and 410 looking at downtown. 42 degrees right now. Bundle up. We are about 5 below normal. Dew point stands at 31, so still very dry air. There's that light wind out of the north primarily, just about 6 miles per hour, and close to freezing in parts of the hill country. 33 at Comfort, that's 1 thermometer, so in your backyard, probably below freezing. 41 Helotes, 36 Bulverde, as well as Bernie Stage. Mold is moderate. Juniper is on the light side, and clear. We had clear skies this morning, then the clouds have continued to move on in here, and it's those clear skies that have allowed temperatures to drop down. But like I said, the clouds are continuing to work their way on in here, and so cloudy skies all day long, and we're only going to make it to the mid-50s today, so kind of puts the lid on any big warm up today. But in the overnight hours, the humidity comes back on in here, and with the cloud cover, that's going to hold temperatures steady. So we'll be starting off in the mid-50s, and with the extra moisture, fog and mist is going to be an issue tomorrow morning. Warmer in the afternoon, and will stay very warm overnight into Saturday. Then a front moves on through here, may squeeze out a couple of showers as it comes through late Saturday morning, noontime, and then those showers will come to an end, but we'll still keep a lot of clouds around, and it will be cooler in the afternoon Saturday late, and then going into dinner time, and then a big warm up again. So we're still all over the place with temperatures over the next couple of days, like we have been the past few days. All the details coming up in just a couple of minutes. Traffic Authority, Stephen. Any big problems out there besides on the east side?
You know, no, Mike, and that's good. You know, this is going to be the big headline of the morning, and I'm keeping an eye on it throughout, GMSA. But again, this is a different shot at 10 at Bicentennial. Mark mentioned this. Those main lanes of I-10 east and west aren't looking too bad, but we are noticing that people are pulling off on the frontage road. Just make sure not to do that. We want to give the firefighters plenty of time to get this situation under control. The reason why we're showing it to you is because we want you to know what to expect if you plan on traveling along I-10 east and west. So right now, the good news is those lanes are not impacted, but you could see a difference along the frontage road maybe within the next few minutes or so. But giving you taking you here to the map, you see a little bit of a buildup that's taking place where that fire is active just along I-10 and the westbound lanes at Foster Road outside Loop 410. This is on the east side of San Antonio, so just be on the lookout there. If you have to travel through Foster Road, there may be some closures, but we'll get some more information for you throughout the morning. Now, slowdowns are expected at this point. You can see them already starting to build up on the far west side, opposite side of town as you're coming in, approaching 1604 there. But everywhere else is not too bad as we give you that wide look and you take that in. But we will watch the roads closely and, of course, have more updates on this active fire, at least 30 units still there throughout the morning. So just remember to drive safe and keep your focus on the road, guys.
Thank you, Stephen. And we jump right into the very latest fire raging east of San Antonio.
Let's go ahead and check in with Katrina Weber, who is there live right now.
Well, good morning. This is one of those stories where you just have to let the pictures tell the story. I mean, take a look at this. What once was Denny's here at I-10 and Foster Road. This is right near Flying J's. Just completely consumed by flames, and I would venture to say that there's not going to be much left because this fire is still raging on. You can see firefighters are hitting it from all angles, trying to knock down those flames, but not really having much success. Look at that part of the roof there collapsing, falling down. Now you can see the smoke from a good quarter mile away. The flames, you can't help but see if you're anywhere in this area. As far as we know, no injuries, but I have not had any official update on this fire. I did talk to the public information officer when we were at another fire earlier, and he was heading this way. He said that it sounded like it was a grease fire, but of course we'll have to wait to see exactly how this started and to get some official information. But wow, what a sight. If you're anywhere here near I-10 and Foster Road, this is definitely the story of the day, I guess you would say, because these flames are just not going away anytime soon. Reporting live on the east side, Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
Thank you, Katrina. A woman is fighting for her life after she was shot in the face. This happened around 1 this morning on Glen Ridge near Lufort 10 and Wurzbach on the city's northwest side. Police say they found the woman inside a burned and boarded up apartment. She is now in the hospital where she is listed in critical condition. So far, no suspects have been arrested. Meanwhile, a separate shooting on the northwest side also sent a woman to the hospital. This one happened just before midnight at a home on Stonebridge. That is not far from Huebner and Babcock. Police tell us a woman was shot while trying to break into the home through the front window. That woman inside fired some shots, and we're told the woman who was hit was taken to the hospital.
We have two more Crime Stoppers cases to tell you about this morning. First one, investigators searching for suspects involved in the murder of this man, Gilbert Aaron Arocha. It happened in November of 2016 on Huebner at Northwest Military. Police say he was riding an SUV when someone in another vehicle started shooting. Arocha was shot and killed. Investigators think two suspects were involved. And police say these suspects are accused of robbing a 70-year-old woman at a northwest side HEB rather. We're told a woman and a man approached her while she was shopping and followed her to her vehicle. The suspects told the woman they needed help to claim a lottery prize, and when the woman refused to help them, they threatened her and made her withdraw money from a bank account. Once the suspects had the money, they took off. Call Crime Stoppers if you have any information about either case. The number to call, 210-224-STOP.
Crime in San Antonio is up about 12% from last year. That's according to the latest data released by the San Antonio Police Department. In response, a nonprofit on the east side is launching its own effort to stop gun violence. It is recruiting former criminals and former gang members to mentor younger people who are involved in crime. Organizers say this is work that can only be measured by those whose lives they're impacting.
They're already connecting with these youth, and it's unfortunately that the crime that's prevented is not reported. The shootings that...
The program launch is this weekend, and organizers say every member of a neighborhood should be involved in positively influencing future generations.
Happening today, city leaders have picked their top 3 applicants to temporarily fill the District 10 council seat, and they will interview them today. A seat was filled by Councilman Clayton Perry, currently on sabbatical. He faces legal charges stemming from a self-confessed involvement in a November 6th hit and run. 3 people who could replace him include Mike Gallagher, Joe Garcia, and Pauline Rubio. You can read more about them and their experience right now on KSAT.com.
Time now is 6:39, and it's 42 degrees for now.
We'll be right back. Just about 6:43. Welcome back. First responders are there for us in times of need, but they also have needs while they're helping us.
There is a group that often takes care of them. As Katrina Weber shows us, that group now needs a helping hand.
We can't help but watch in awe and sometimes horror as big trouble unfolds. From a 3-day-long standoff to a multi-alarm fire. We count on first responders to be there. In the middle of those battles, though, they often need backup and get it by way of an organization called Fire Scene Rehab.
When we arrive at a scene, our priority is to take care of first responders, give them a place to take a break, get out of the elements.
A former police dispatcher, Frank Castillo, has seen the toll these supersized situations can take on crews and wanted to help.
They can't leave the scene to go to the restroom, go to the store.
Firefighters in their heavy gear, police officers in their, vests.
Bobby Briggs, who once worked as an industrial firefighter, came up with this idea to help those who help us. With more than a dozen volunteers, Fire Scene Rehab brings a bit of comfort to the front lines. Snacks, a resting place, and a rest room. As a nonprofit organization, the folks here rely on donations for everything from supplies to maintaining their equipment. Briggs says lately they are struggling. Tough economic times for others have led to dwindling donations.
One of our biggest hits was the fuel prices. The gasoline goes down, but the diesel doesn't.
He says they've also had to put off some repairs. From month to month, he has been wondering if the organization will survive, whether his team will be able to continue serving those who serve all of us. Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
Those are used a lot in the summertime, especially too, as they fight fires to cool off. They strip down on their gear and
go into a cold place.
We wonder if they're out there right now.
Yeah,
Big fire.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Well, No Shave November. It's over.
Winding down.
I know. I was going to help out Mike here. I just looked at the leaderboard.
Stephanie.
Okay. Do you need a Sharpie?
Just to make it.
Well, while Steph works on her masterpiece, let's get a look at the leaderboard because Justin Horn right now is at the top spot. Mike Osterhage, we can't call him Bitter Betty right now, but we can say that he's a little salty. We're trying to.
It's salt and pepper here.
There you go.
Salt and pepper. But exactly. Team Gray Hair, $4,841. Mark Austin, $3,012. David Sears, Woody Harrelson, as we like to call him, $2,850. Max Massey, just impressed with this guy, $2,660. And I'm trailing right behind them. But you know what? All the guys have done great. We have 15 guys in our newsroom, and we're still raising money. The great thing is No Shave November's over, as you can tell by Mark and I. But you can still donate to Team KSAT. Those fundraising initiatives will continue through the end of December. And of course, that will help these nonprofit organizations which are helping these cancer patients, their families, find support and hope.
Well, we're hoping for another surge during our 9 o'clock newscast today. The big shave off is coming up. You're going to be be out there.
I'll be out there. Yes, I'll be out there.
Can you see that?
I don't think
just give him the plug.
No.
Team
Gray.
It's not meant to be, Mike. You can't see it. You can't see it.
Yeah, I needed a Sharpie. I tried my best.
Okay.
Well, we got to give him good lighting.
Okay, can you see it right there? There we go. Anyway.
The graphics that we have.
Will help. That'll help. You know, but we're going to have more of that at 9 a.m.
Yes.
and over close to 30,000 guys.
Okay.
But we got to get to some traffic trouble here. We want to just kind of switch gears for just a moment. We will talk No Shave, but take a look there to, pardon me, I-10 at Medical. Just not another good scene that we're looking at here on the TransGuide cameras. Our friends over there have had a busy morning, and of course, these first responders have had a busy morning. This is a major crash that looks like it was reported right there along those eastbound lanes of I-10. Several first responders have at least the far left lane blocked off, as you can see, as traffic is moving through the eastbound lanes. But we get you right here to the map. As we mentioned, it's near Medical Drive. It's not causing major issues for drivers, but because this is in the eastbound lanes, we can probably expect to see a slowdown take place as folks are making their way into the downtown area. And of course, another spot we are keeping a close eye on is right over here, that big fire that's been active, I-10 at Foster Road, just outside Loop 410. We saw the scene from Katrina Weber, and it is not a good one. We want drivers to be focused on the roadways because first responders are out there working to clear this up. But thankfully, the wide look at the map just shows that crash, that active fire, and a few slowdowns to be on the lookout for. But we take it back here, and Mike, something that we mentioned earlier was that wind, thankfully, is not going to be a factor with this.
Yeah, it wasn't like what it was yesterday when we had those blustery winds, just a light wind out of the north primarily. Okay, shifting gears to if you need a good start to the day, just take a look at this picture. Our real life little elf on the shelf. If that's not just adorable. And can you imagine this little guy looking at the Christmas tree and everything? Oh, my goodness. Thank you very much for that KSAT Connect picture. All right. Well, a little out of focus there, but you can see all the twinkling lights. Kind of looks like, if you squint enough, almost looks like Christmas lights out there, the downtown skyline. And temperatures at 42 degrees, 41 Helotes, 30s Hill Country, close to freezing out there in Comfort, so maybe freezing, obviously, in your backyard. A little bit of a wind chill to deal with. 38 here in town, 35 Bulverde. So for those firefighters, hats off to y'all and first responders out there battling that blaze with that little bit of a breeze. It is cold, not overly windy, but just windy enough. And with that wind coming in here out of the north, that's where the fire is right there. That is on the north side of 10, so may get a little bit of smoke blowing across the highway over there on the east side of town. Temperatures are going to be holding pretty steady the next couple of hours, maybe fluctuating a degree or so, 40 when it's all said and done, and then only up to 52 at noon. Only up to 55 for a high today. Lots of clouds around here. Then we're going to start to see some moisture move on in. So that's going to, with the cloud cover and the moisture, that's going to hold temperatures steady. Couple little sprinkly showers around tomorrow morning. Again, the long range model paints things with a broad brush. Saturday, this is the front moving on through here. It is not going to be raining everywhere. This is just indicating a couple little showers here and there as the front moves through. But then for some of the activities, a Saturday evening and parade in Bernie. It's going to be fine. It's going to be chilly, of course, because temperatures will be dropping down. A couple of more sprinkles then coming in here on Sunday. A lot of clouds, maybe a few breaks here and there starting off next week. The next front, which had looked like it was going to come through midweek, may just kind of linger around here, but hopefully a chance for some rain by the middle of the week next week. So the forecast today, we make it up to 52 at noon. Plenty of clouds around here, and then 55 for a high temperature. Today, we're going to be 12 below normal. It is going to be on the chilly side, and then temperatures stay steady overnight. We start off 55 tomorrow with some mist and drizzle around here. And then it's going to be very mild early Saturday. Front moves through, and that's going to cool us down, but very warm going into next week. Steph, Mark.
Mike, thank you. 10 till 7, 42 degrees.
It's not the holiday season without a performance of the Nutcracker. I'm Sarah Costa, coming up on GMSA, how you and the family can enjoy a performance of the children's Nutcracker.
And a quick look out there with a live cam. Nice and cold, 42 degrees. The shot out there looks really nice. Just be prepared to bundle up today. We'll be right back.
These are the last gasps of a huge fire here on the city's east side. Good morning, I'm Katrina Weber, stepping out of the way so you can see what is left of Denny's here at I-10 and Foster Road. This is near the Flying J gas station. This fire broke out before 5:30 this morning. Firefighters, dozens of them here, just trying to get this under control, but you can still see the flames burning through what's left of the roof. This is a big attention grabber as you head down I-10. The smoke you could see from a quarter mile away. The flames you can't help but notice. As far as we know, no one is injured. I talked to a worker here who told me that a customer is the one who told him his roof was on fire. He then got out and along with everyone who was inside the building, he told me. The fire PIO, Public Information Officer, told me earlier that this call came out as a grease fire in the kitchen, but it is well beyond that. Now you can see not much left here at all, but they continue to try to put this fire out. Reporting live on the east side, Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
And here's a look at that TransGuide camera we've been showing you for the last hour or so. 10 at Foster. It's not done yet. You can see those crews battling the flames. Watch out if you are traveling along I-10 at Foster Road, just outside Loop 410. Foster Road, we are seeing some buildup there is taking place out over in that direction. I-10 eastbound at Medical Drive. We're still watching that crash as well. It's an active morning here on the roadways, but we're going to continue to watch everything closely and, of course, give you those updates as needed.
Clouds have moved on in here. Temperatures have kind of held steady. 33 comfort, 44 now here in town. And we are only going to make it up to 55 later on today. Cloudy skies, very mild tomorrow morning, mist and drizzle, warm in the afternoon, warm start Saturday. Then a front moves through and then it's going to cool us down temporarily for Saturday late and Saturday evening. And then very warm going into next week.
Mike has now raised enough money to fund a small country.
Thank you all very much.
For No Shame November. Hey, he's at 56.41.
Yeah,
awesome.
We are closing in at $30,000. All right, just congratulations to our guys, and thank you to our viewers.
Yes,
our viewers.
Thanks everybody out there.
Everybody out there. It goes to a great cause.
Let's keep it going. So it kind of winds down today, but we're going to keep this fundraising going through the end of the year. Why not, right?
And the big shave at 9 o'clock.
At 9 o'clock, 9 a.m.
Shave off.
Yeah.
All right.
We look forward to seeing you out there and seeing the
been great.
numbers.
You're fantastic Gordon's fisherman, as I said before.
My goodness. Have a great day, guys.